to share our December program. We are really grateful for all of you and your participation in 2021, and we're excited for 2022. We've got some new and exciting things coming your way, and including in January, on January 25th, we're going to be having a live event. Everyone's been wanting to get the group back together and network and sharing some of the best things about this organization. And so we're going to have a cocktail party on January 25th. Our board will be there to talk to you. We're going to have some music and some fun and some education and some surprises as well. So look for that invite coming your way. There's limited attendance, so I encourage you guys to get signed up right away and plan on being there on January 25th. Also this year, we want to thank I want to thank our board, who worked so hard to represent the WMBA as well as our industry. They do a lot behind the scenes to protect the mortgage industry and to support all of you in what it is that you do every day. So I'm just going to read down the list here. And Lisa Goldsmith, Rosemary David, Jim DeMarco, our 2022 president, John Smith, Tony Fernandez, Janine Sprague, Darren Clark, Steve Corey, Jordan Flowers, Yana Nelson, Christopher Salas, Eric Seidenberger, Keisha Weir, Tony Blodgett, Gary Fallon, Sharon Knowles, Robert Lipston, Francois Mandath, Mike Olden, and last on the list is Mindy Argon. And we want to express our gratitude to Mindy. She's going to be moving on to new and exciting adventures. And so Mindy, we wanted to take this time to thank you for everything that you've done to serve the WMBA and let you know how much we appreciate you. All right. So today we have a special guest, and his name is Ron Alford. Looking for his, sorry, the intro seems to have disappeared. There it is. So before I introduce Ron, I want to share with you why I had him come in today. Glasses for this. Today we have a great guest speaker, Ron Alford, who helps run Southwestern Coaching, which is the speaking, training, and coaching division of the Southwestern family of companies. Ron is one of 5 senior partners that led a group of 125 certified professional sales and leadership coaches around the world. He has been with the Southwestern family of companies for over 25 years. And I know that I've seen him many times over the years. Ron is a company record holder with most campaign and yearly sales in the 160 plus years Southwestern history. He is an ultra runner, having completed many trail running races of up to 100 miles. Ron is all about growth, serving others, and having a great time while doing it. He is a dad of 3 who could care less about any accolades of his and just thinks he's a goofball. Today, Ron is going to share sales training principles and habit-changing ideas as a way of introducing us to a one-on-one professional sales coaching program called Top Producers Edge. Please help me in welcoming Ron Alford. Welcome, Ron.
The old unmute. We should know that one, right? Thanks, Tanya. Thanks for the nice words. I've been excited about doing this. I'm seeing faces I recognize. So obviously not live. I wish some of you guys would turn your dang cameras on so I could act like we're really in the same room together. But
yeah.
This will be fun. It's obviously special timing, Monday of Christmas week with you guys. And when Tanya mentioned the date, I thought, man, this will be awesome because it's just a neat time to reflect and hopefully slow down and just take stock of honestly where are we at in life. Like, of course, our business, but but really life. And then as all humans, we then need to adjust, right? What's rocking? What am I grateful for? What am I feeling spot on with? And then what are some of those little gaps, where I could be better in my business, in my fitness life, in my spiritual life, in certain relationships or whatever it might be. And so that's my hope. I know a lot of you guys don't have your cameras on, but my hope is you guys can kind of unplug, turn the phones off if you're able, but just to really kind of take stock of some of this as we get close to year end, and we'll talk about some fun stuff going forward. So my other thought too, if you guys could, unmute. I love hearing your voice. So feel free. This is something I do all the time. I don't need to hear myself talk. So to me, I like hearing you guys chime in. And if it's just a quick amen, or if it's like, oh, I got an example of that, or I have a question or whatever, this is very laid back. This is by no means, just me talking at you guys. So we'll have some fun.
Amen.
Go ahead, Lisa.
Amen.
Amen. Let's go. Come on, we got one. That's awesome. And yeah, I'll call. I'm sitting here thinking, Patrick Davidson, I haven't been over to Wenatchee in a long time. And I know Jamie, and of course, Jim, and Rich, I haven't talked to you forever. And so a lot of these names, it's really cool. Christine, I know. So this will be very fun and laid back. So feel free to chime in. I'm going to share my screen in a minute. And there is a thought. Some of you guys might be driving. Some of you guys might be multitasking. But if you are in a place where you can jot down thoughts, there is a lot of brain science. There is something powerful that happens when a thought goes from brain to paper. And again, it doesn't have to be anything I say. This is just stuff that's little light bulbs, little reminders, little things maybe that hit you. Even if you've heard certain things before, they hit us at certain times in our life where it's just like, okay, I can receive that differently, and hopefully I can apply it differently. My role, Tanya mentioned, I've been actually with Southwestern 28 years, and it's a blast. I get to really get deep inside the heads of a lot of incredible people. And when they're honest, it's incredible what happens and the growth that happens. And so for each of us in this call, having honesty, having awareness, right, are the first steps of any growth. And then after that comes, managing my emotions to help me move in a different direction. Some of you guys are into recruiting. Some of you guys are purely focused on production or operations or whatever your role is. I know there's a lot of different roles represented on this call as well. So let me share my screen, and feel free to put questions or thoughts in the chat. You can see my screen okay, Tanya?
Yeah.
Awesome. So we're going to dig in. This is going to be straight up on results. This is a part, I actually was in San Diego last week that I did this part for 2 different teams. I was in Medford, Oregon 2 weeks ago. And this is a fun topic because it really is personal. It's whatever you want it to be. Every one of you guys on this call have different results you'd love to see happen. And so as we're going through this, I'd love for some of you guys to just maybe even share an example. But I'm going to talk about 4 best practices for increased results. And any and everyone on this call that's in leadership, obviously take some notes, because first of all, we got to look in the mirror, right? Everything, first of all, is for us. But then number 2, how can I bring this to my people? Anytime I hear something, I'm thinking, how can I apply this? And then number 2, how can I help my kids with this or my family? Number 3, how can I help the coaches? We work with about 120 coaches around the world. How can I bring this to our team of coaches? Like, how can we share these things that are helping us grow? And so do me a favor, if I could get at least 2 of you guys, just what's a result you'd love to see happen? Unmute, just share what's any type of result you'd love to see happen. This could be in the next week, it could be in the next month, it could be in the next year. And I don't mean like finish Christmas shopping. I mean something a little more worthwhile than that. But can anybody give me an example?
How about a business plan?
Okay, love it. So Lisa, is that getting it really locked in and put together?
Yep.
Okay, well said. Yeah, it's so neat too. I actually had a coaching call this morning with someone that was talking about, number 1, making the business plan new and fun and unique so it captures them. How many of us have been doing what we do for 10, 20 or more years so it can get routine and it can just feel like, same old, same old. So how do you make it feel new and different? And then how do you set yourself up for success? When am I going to review that business plan? Who am I going to share it with? Who's going to hold me accountable to it? There's obviously a lot that goes into that. I see Rosemary. Did I pronounce it right?
Oh, hi. I was just joining to join, but if I thought about questions specifically, I guess I'd say I've just spent, the last 3 or 4 months in the strategic planning for, the year of 2022. So I'm really focused right now on what I would refer to as kind of the SMART goals for the next 90 days and the next 6 months that, will lead towards those outcomes. I'd love to take the last 2 weeks of the year to work on that personally, kind of every year.
Okay.
To head into the first of the year ready to roll.
Getting them dialed in, specific and measurable. And how do I pronounce your name? Is it Rosemary or?
Rosemary, thanks for
Rosemary,
asking.
well, thank you. When I put you on the spot, thank you for, boom, you were ready. So
Sure.
Anyone else want to chime in real quick? Just a personal or professional, just a quick result you'd love to share, Tanya?
I'll share something. One of the items that the WMBA board is working hard on is really to reinvent how it is that we can deliver these programs and get participation and deliver content to our members and the industry in the world of Zoom calls and limited live events. So that is the result that we're working on increasing is participation.
Right on. Come on, let's go. Who on this call does not want to increase engagement or participation, whatever you want to call it, but with people in your life? Heck yeah. And it doesn't feel like COVID's going anywhere. So the sooner we embrace it and kind of this whole Zoom world, I mean, eradicate Zoom fatigue from your dang dictionary. Like, oh, I've used that. And I'm like, what am I saying? That's just setting myself up for misery. Like I either resist this crap and suffer, or I embrace it and thrive. And it's a choice. And so, Tanya, that's awesome. Getting participation for some of you guys from your branches, from your team, you guys, your referral partners. Some people I know in mortgages, oh, my referral partnerships, I can't see them in person. And I love having coffee. I'm such a face-to-face, bumping elbows type of, oh, well, it is time to adapt, right? And some of us maybe have already done that. Some haven't. So let's dig in. So as you guys are thinking through, hopefully, I know a few of you guys shared, but hopefully everyone on this call is thinking of at least 2 or 3 results you'd love to see happen. For some of you guys, paying off debt, donating more money to a cause you believe in, buying that second home you can take family trips on, doing something for a loved one, really getting your fitness dialed in, whatever it might be, right? So hopefully that's kind of, as you're thinking it through. And then as we go through these 4 best practices, these will all lead directly back to our kind of main theme of the results. So first one by far, maximize the area where we work, right? Arguably, everyone on this call spends more time working than they do anything else in life, next to maybe sleep and social time, right? And so if that's the case, how do we really get the most out of where we work? Some of you guys are in cars, you're in coffee shops, you're at home, you're in your office, you have a variety of different places. I'm working on airplanes. Wherever you're working, how do you maximize the area where you do your craft, right? And so there's a few best practices on this. First one, my space and setup, appropriate space and setup for me to be in the proper state, right? If I'm in the right emotional state, I get better results. What's one thing you guys notice, and this requires unmuting. I know a lot of you guys are muted, but if anyone's willing to shout out, what's one thing you notice about my posture? Anyone?
I think standing upright, full of energy.
Boom. Awesome.
Yeah.
Standing. And so that's thank you guys. So that may not be your thing, but for me personally, I learned years ago that when I'm emailing, I can just sit and kind of rock it. But if I'm on a phone call or any type of presentation, get that desk, get standing. There's a different energy that I have. And years ago, I didn't have some fancy push button desk. It was just stacking shoeboxes, like find a way to do it, right? Another thing is looking over and seeing nature, like being able to see my landscaping and nature, if that fills your cup. For some of you guys, you have a really emotional thing you're working for. You've got a deep purpose. You've got a loved one you care about that you want to take on a trip. You've got an award you want to win. You've got all these different things that stoke your fire. If I went into your office right now, would I see vivid pictures of it represented? Let's say you have a cause you want to donate more time or money to. Let's say there's a trip you want to take your family on, or a cabin in the woods you want to buy, or a lake house you want to buy. If I walked into your office or your workspace, would I see a picture of that? There's a direct correlation to a vivid image and my ability to pick up the dang phone and make phone calls, which of course is an income producing activity. So just having that kind of thing set up in our space makes a difference. Number two is the cues, or I would call these sensory cues. These could be auditorial, they could be visual. There's a variety of these. Let me give you an example. I'm going to step off screen. And if you guys could listen for a second, I want you to shout out what you hear, if you can. Okay, what'd you guys hear?
Door closing.
Door closing. Awesome. That's a goofy example, but that's an example of a trigger that can go off in my mind that literally gets me into a totally different state. On the other side of that door, I can be laid back, goofball, wrestling with my dog, hanging out with the kids, like just relaxed dad or individual. When the door shuts, you can literally turn into a different person. It's crazy how that can be a cue. There's so many different examples. Here's an example of a visual cue. A lot of you guys that I know I keep this thing with me everywhere. It's got my most important papers in it. Take it with me on all my trips. You see one thing at the top, I've always got a recent like 40-day challenge or a 20-day challenge, something like that on here. And this is a simple cue that relaxes me. Literally every time I look at it, it reminds me to control the things I can and not worry about the stuff I can't. And I don't know about you guys, I know there are a lot of people that when they're honest right now, they have got a lot of anxiety just because there's so much uncertainty. It could be rates, it could be inventory, it could be government stuff, it could be, mandates, it could be the weather, it could be, there's just so many things out there we have zero or very little control over. And the more we live in those, the more we have anxiety or we worry or we suffer. Every time I look at this, it's a neat little example or a little reminder of some basic things that I can totally control. Little things, affirm my kids, my workouts, my planning my calendar pillow to pillow so I can respect my time. Make one new key business contact, etc. Just whatever those things are. And then when it's done, you can track the same thing or you can shift and refocus. But having cues can make a big difference. Okay, the third part of number one, so we're still on maximizing our workspace, is getting locked in. A lot of you guys on here were athletes back in high school or college, or you can think when you watch the Olympic athletes or you see these NFL gladiators on Sunday, they literally are able to get themselves into this different place. Now, just because we're not Olympic athletes doesn't mean that same principle doesn't apply. Okay, I'm an old Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Some of you guys remember the guy named Troy Polamalu. Nowadays, he's the Head and Shoulders guy. If you see the Head and Shoulders commercials. If you hear people talk about Troy that know him really well, they'll say he's one of the most soft-spoken, just kind, humble, genuine humans you could ever be around. And yet when he put his helmet on, he turned into this like Tasmanian devil. He was a freak out there. And it was just because it was something that happened that got him into that different state. Guys, that works for us too. Maybe you put your hat on, maybe you take your glasses off, maybe you take your coat off, maybe I don't know what it is. But if it's time to make your dials, if you're calling your database, if you're calling real estate agents, if you're calling whatever, or if you're doing laundry or if you're rocking emails or if you're about to have your workout, whatever you do that when you quote, put it on or you do something, it's crazy how that can really get you into a locked in sense. Okay. So hopefully this is hitting you guys. You guys ready for number two? Okay. So our second key for maximizing results. The first one was maximizing our workspace. Okay, our second one is next level. I'm talking next level preparation. And this is not a new topic. I know everyone on this call has heard of time blocking. You guys all know the power of planning. This is not a new topic, but I truly mean doing it on another level. I tell you, we believe, we have a belief in our company that when pandemics hit, because they always do, and it doesn't have to be COVID. These could be personal things with your health or a loved one. These could be something with your finances. These could be something global. But when tough things hit, our schedules are lifeline. Like your calendar and your schedule is literally what helps you thrive, not just survive. And I bet if I asked everyone on this call, and I'm sitting here looking at some names, if I went around and said, hey, Tony, hey, Tracy, hey, Sharon, hey, Gary, hey, Edwin, hey, Mike, hey, Rich, like what is the greatest gift you have? If there's anything in your world you would not want to give up, most of us would say healthy minutes, like our health, our time where we're thriving in a healthy sense, right? If any of you guys have ever had a loved one pass away, my father-in-law, my wife's dad, passed 2 years ago from ALS. And if you've seen a loved one or someone's health decline, you'll trade every trophy, you'll trade your bank account, you'll trade anything for health. And you guys know that. And yet there's ways we give away time. We get robbed of time constantly. I want to dig in on this for a minute. The three main ways we see that people lose time. Number one, lack of specificity on what's next. We don't have a locked in plan. Rosemarie talked about that SMART, the specific, the measurable, et cetera. We humans can get so dang vague. Oh, I want to be more fit. I want to grow my business. I want to do this. I want to do that. I mean, you guys know if tonight after 8 o'clock, if you just sit down and just start snacking mindlessly because you're watching a show, I don't know about you guys. I'm going to start eating Reese's peanut butter cups, and I'm going to start because feelings take over, right? If I don't have a plan, if I don't meal plan and have healthy snack alternatives nearby, like whatever, pistachios, or my wife makes these incredible like protein bite thing, just again, goofy example, but you guys get my point. Specificity in how we plan takes the feelings out of it. So I mean, getting next level locked in on what the plan is. Number two, distractions. Distractions kill dreams. I honestly believe, and I'm thankful to Tanya, some of you guys, I think have gotten the book that I worked on for the last 4 years. There's a big part in there where we talk a lot about the power of focus and the ability to concentrate. And I believe more and more, I believe that concentration is becoming a superpower. Because literally think about every little notification. I bet even in the last 5 minutes, some of you guys, if this dang phone lights up, what does our head do? Right? And we just constantly, that stopping and restarting, stalling kills momentum in every pursuit in life.
Yeah.
And you guys know the importance of momentum, right? Momentum is so powerful. So distractions just get us off course. How many of you guys have ever had a 30-minute workout at a gym that was more meaningful or more powerful than a 1-hour workout? Everyone, all you guys have, right? And what was different? You went in with a plan. You were locked in. You focused. You just boom, 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 rocked it and got out of there. There's other times I'm guilty. I'll have an hour and I'm just kind of looking in the mirror and kind of wasting time. And how many of us treat email the same way, or our prospecting or our marketing activities or shooting videos, whatever. So really getting locked in on focus. Okay. The third one is what I would call lack of stamina or fatigue. Fatigue sets in. And I hear this a ton. There's so, and I get goosebumps in this one. I hear so many times every week, we're just, I'm tired, or I don't have time, or I feel burnt out, or I've been kind of going through the motions a little bit. And I get it. We're all human. I've struggled with that in my past as well. We have a saying internally, we talk to a lot of our coaching clients about, and that's that the endurance in our life is tied directly to the clarity of our vision. I'll say that again. The endurance I have in every part of my life is tied directly to the clarity of my vision. If I'm tired, if I'm yawning, if I feel like I need a nap, it's usually because my vision is weak. It's because my vision, my purpose is fuzzy. How many of you guys have ever had a time in your life where you were not getting very much sleep for over a couple of weeks, but it didn't matter? You were on this mission. I remember when my twins were born years ago. It's crazy. Those little jokers never slept at the same time. I felt like I wasn't sleeping at all in the months that followed, but it didn't matter. I didn't want to fail as a dad. So you had this different energy that you tapped into. You had this reservoir of strength inside of you, right? And then there's other times, I'm guilty, where I've gotten plenty of sleep and I'm looking at the clock and I'm yawning. And it always comes back to adding fresh dry logs on that fire, guys. Are we stoking that fire? Is our vision hot? Is there a deeper purpose of why we're trying to do so much volume and money and units? And yeah, that's nice. I love the goal, but why? Like, what is it about that? And really having someone work with you on bringing out the why. And I tell you what, if you had a strong one 6 months ago, awesome, congratulations. That doesn't mean it's going to work tomorrow. It's something we constantly have to restoke and relight, or else it fades quickly. Okay, our third key. Okay, remember there's 4 best practices. We're about to start number 3. If we have an incredible plan, so let's imagine everyone on this call, next level, we're not waiting for January. We're not people on this call to wait for January. That's what other people do. Like, calendars are crap. We start this stuff now, right? So let's say we go into tomorrow, we got this incredible plan. Number 3 is the importance of protecting our plan, right? How do we protect it? How many of us have ever had a great plan that went to crap by noon? Like, something happened and the plan blew up. And so we have to set strong boundaries so people respect your plan. They don't unintentionally steal your time away from you. Okay, so getting massive. I mean, I'm talking Rottweiler, like bulldog, building a fence around your plan so you can protect it. Okay, the first key in this one is having some crucial conversations, literally asking for help. This is hard because everyone on this call has ego and pride and arrogance, and we all have that built into us humans. But how do we crush the pride and pick 1 or 2 or 3 loved ones or people we know and just say, hey, man, I have a favor to ask you. I just feel some just really excitement over where I'm at, some of the things that are coming in the weeks ahead. And I just wanted to ask you a favor. And then insert crucial conversation here. And everyone on this call.
I just had that conversation.
Say it, Tanya.
I just had that conversation. ... Pretend I'm not here during the day.
Solid. That's awesome. It's so good. And guys, it's with our kids, our spouse, our assistant, our referral partners, our parents. That I had a call with Linda, one of my coaches in St. Louis this morning. She's a young grandma, and her 2 daughters that mean well, they love her, but they do the pop buys now because they just think just because Linda works from home, like just because she's not like some Boeing executive or something, means that she's got all this spare time. And Linda is a people pleaser. She loves her daughters. She loves her grandkids. So guess what she has done recently? Okay, sure. I guess I'll help. And guys, it's robbing her of her goals. And so maybe it's not a grandparent situation. Maybe it's something with someone else, but we all have someone in our life we could think of that we could ask for help with this. It's a big one. Number 2, this one sounds so basic, but stick with me. Just share the plan. Just share it. It's crazy. Guys, in order to share the plan, we must first what? Yes, I hear all of you shouting out. Have the plan, Ron. Yes. Yeah, so in order to share it, we must, number 1, have that plan detailed. You set a massively important date with yourself on Sunday where you get dialed in on what your ideal week is going to look like the next week. Pillow to pillow. From when I wake up to when I go to bed. Even chill time on the couch. Put it on there because then you do it guilt-free. It's planned. Right? And then pick 2 or 3 or 4 people you share it with. You guys, I have a coach, Dana, in Brooklyn. I've known Dana for about 22 years. She's in Brooklyn, New York. Last year, she broke our company's revenue record. She's incredible. She said the most important thing she did last week was send me her calendar every Sunday night. And it wasn't just me. She sent it to about 4 different people. And it's crazy to hear her talk about it. She said, number 1, to send it, she must first had to make it and create it and really plan it. But number 2, she said the psychology of it, just the fact that she sent it to a few of us, and she's told me in the past, even if I don't check it, she doesn't even care if I check it. She's like, just the fact that you might check it and ask me about it, I'm that much more likely to follow through on it. You guys, it is crazy how sharing the plan can make a massive difference. Now, there's other reasons too, of course. If you have an assistant, if you have a production partner, if you have a spouse of any sort, anyone you cohabitate with, that you live with, like, then they respect your time too. Just share your plan a week or a month in advance. Crazy how much that can make a difference. Okay, our our third part of number 3 is making it fun. Literally getting creative to make this fun. I don't care what kind of job you got. It can be do you guys know that people in professional sports, there's professional golfers that don't like their job. There's professional NBA. And so it does not matter what the job is. There are people that love it and people that hate it. There's professional musicians that make tons of money and have tons of adoring fans, and they're miserable, right? There's also people that wait tables and they love their job. So how do you make it fun? Pick 2 or 3 or 4 people you work with. I can have a coach in Omaha, Nebraska, another coach in Minneapolis, and a coach in Denver. And the 3 of them get together and say, man, in January, if we do boom and boom and boom, we get to treat ourselves to an awesome golf trip or a spa trip or something awesome, just some sort of a cool reward. And you make it fun. You guys are paid incredibly well. It is still crazy to me. The coaching we do is we're not in mortgage. We're not industry experts. We're more behavioral. We're all about sales psychology, leadership psychology, and behavioral science, helping people have the activity and behaviors to get more results. When I study and watch and work with mortgage professionals, it's crazy. How can you have fun with it though? Making it a little bit more fun. Here's a quick example. I have a coach, David, in Indianapolis. Let me unshare my screen briefly. So I'll set the story here. David, I've worked with for years. Last May of 2020, it was 2 months after COVID hit us big time. He was struggling. Now, David historically has been top 5 in our company in production. Like, he's a killer. That would be top 1%, 1 or 2%. He's massively involved in his kids' sports, the community. Like, he's just a joyful guy, very balanced, very joyful. About May of last year, just was struggling. We had a couple calls in a row where he was talking about just being in a bit of a funk and not being able to explain why. We took a stab at just basically tracking some of his habits, a simple little step, just saying, why don't we lock in on a few habits that are really easy to do, they're basics, and just track them, and let's see what happens. Okay, let me reshare my screen, and I'll show you guys what happened here. Okay, so if you see at the top, he actually picked about 12 of these suckers. You don't have to pick that many. You can pick like 3 habits or 5. But these were just basic. Wake up at 5 a.m., drink 90 ounces of water. Some of you guys will laugh. It says brush his teeth twice a day. What was he doing before that, right? He just needed some victories, some celebratory things to just say, that's like me, good job. And you guys, every night he would text me a picture of this thing. It was so fun. I didn't even have to say anything. He just knew I was cheering him on. And if you look, he proactively went in and blacked out the dates. He knew he wasn't going to track it. So like, I'm not going to wake up at 5 a.m. on the weekends, right? But it was just a simple little thing. None of these were even work metrics. When he started doing this in early June, he was mid-pack. He was right in the middle of our production for our entire company. By the end of the year, he was number 2 worldwide. We have coaches in South America, Canada, Europe. And he was number 2 overall. He said by far, he just tracked his habits. And he said more than all that revenue and income, he's like, I spent more time with my kids. I was a more joyful parent. I was more fun to be around. It's crazy what happens when accountability is built in. Okay, we're going to bring it home. You guys ready for number 4? This is our big one.
Okay.
Tanya, you got to be ready. I'm going to make sure I always love a meeting that ends a little early, especially the week of Christmas. So I'm going to make sure we end early. Number 4, guys, man, this is so big. It's protecting our thoughts. And I tell you, I've never seen a time, I've been doing what I do for a long time. I've never seen a time where people are having more toxic and destructive thoughts than right now. And if it's comparing, if it's judging, if it's slandering, if it's this or that or whatever else, and maybe you're doing great. Maybe you on this call are like, I'm fine. Like, Maybe that was your first thought when I said that. Well, you know what? You probably have a loved one going through this. Like your spouse, your child, your parent. There is someone in your home or your immediate world that is struggling with their thoughts. And think about this for a minute, because I know this is not a new topic. The whole idea of mindset is not new or unique, but I want to hit you on a different level with it. If you think in the history of humans, literally in humankind, think about all the things that have ever been destroyed. Think about the Roman armies and the nations that have fallen, the world wars we've had, the companies that have gone corrupt, the churches that have ended, the marriages that have ended. Think about all the things that have ever been destroyed. Those things all began with a thought that got out of control. If you flip the switch and think more in a joyful sense, think about all the beauty that's been created. Think about all the buildings, the beautiful scenery, the landscaping, the nonprofits that have been started, the companies that have started. Like, just think about all the incredible things that have ever been created. I love flying in airplanes, just thinking about someone thought of this. Those things all began with a thought. What could be more important in the world than protecting our thoughts? It's a big one. There's three things, and we're going to bring this home. Okay, the first one is really intentional affirmations. Now, I don't know a lot of you guys on this call. There's some names I recognize, a lot of you guys I don't know well yet. But I tell you what, if we went around the horn, if I asked every one of you guys, I'm looking at Yana, I'm looking at Cheyenne, I'm probably screwing the names up. I'm looking at Jesse that I do know, and Michael and Vanessa and Greg and if I asked every single one of you guys on this call, what's a character trait or two? In fact, put this in the chat if you guys would like. If you're willing to throw it in the chat, or even unmute if you'd like. What's one or two things you'd love to be known for? Like, I'm looking at one name, Jeff Dreyer. Let's imagine Jeff and I grew up together. I know him incredibly well. I know his family. Let's just say he and I are really close, and I know him really well. And then Edwin, who's on this call, calls me and says, "Hey, I'm about to meet up with this guy named Jeff. I heard you know him well. Can you tell me about him?" What would I say about Jeff? What would I say about you? And guys, I'm not talking about your production last year. I'm not talking about the house you live in. I'm not talking about the car you drive. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about, what would I say about you? Your character, your principles. Affirmations are a funky topic. A lot of us, I grew up a military kid. Both my older brothers are Marine Corps. I mean, I didn't have a lot of fluff in my house growing up. It was just, boy, get your stuff done. So affirmations for me were really hard. It felt awkward and dorky at first, years ago. And just like, really, like I'm supposed to say things positive to myself? Seems weird. You guys, I am singing this from the mountaintops. Some of you guys know I love being a lab rat. I do these ultra marathon things out in the mountains where you literally run through the night. You run like a lot of hours on end. And I have been in aid stations at 2 a.m. and seen humans where their body is shot. They cannot get the cramps gone. They cannot move it. And you talk about a second wind. There's a 30th. They never stop. And it's the power of the mind. And it's just incredible to see people bounce back from things. The reason why I asked you those character traits, what would you want to be known for? Let's say some of you guys, and again, feel free, throw it in the chat. Let's say you're saying, God, I'd love people to think I'm generous and a good listener. And I'd love, I see someone on here. I'm unconditional love, right? I'm a trusted resource. People can trust me. Put some others in there, guys. I see someone here. I'm genuine. I'm so-and-so, so sincere. You got to meet Christopher. You got to meet Jeff. You got to meet Edwin. You got to meet Tracy and Sharon, because that person's so resilient. They're so unconditional in how they treat people, right? They're such a grateful person. The littlest gestures, they're so appreciative. Who wouldn't want to be known as those things? You guys, all an affirmation is a simply built statement that helps us acquire more of that trait. It's a very intentional statement. So I'll give you an example. Years ago, I had a mentor of sorts that used to say, if you really want to help people, and I love what you guys are writing, the kindness, solid support for myself. doesn't take himself too seriously, loves to laugh, helpful. You guys are putting awesome ones in here. So here's one example. I had a person years ago that said, if you really want to help people, if you really want to do well in life, you need to learn how to listen and shut up and listen and ask better questions. And I vividly remember thinking, well, that sucks. I'm not good at that. And that was my first thought. Our thoughts are toxic. Like this junk in our head is just crazy. And I remember thinking, so what am I supposed to do? Like walk around saying I'm a good listener? It just feels gimmicky. And no, that's not it. Like do it in a way that's authentic to you. I remember writing down, this was like 20 something years ago. I remember literally writing in a journal. I love learning about people. I love understanding what makes other people tick. You guys, I said that hundreds of times. I wove it into conversations. Why do you do what you do? What about man, I just love learning about people. Aren't people interesting? I just love learning what makes them tick. And through that was an affirmation of sorts. Because of those affirmations, I've learned how to love listening. One of the things I believe, there's a lot of things I'm working on and I'm not there, but one of the things I love to do is ask great questions and listen. So again, whatever it might be, guys, affirmations make a massive difference. I'm going to come back to that one. Okay, second key on here, turn off the noise. Know when to just say when. I'm not saying be ignorant. I'm not saying that Fox and CNN and social media, I'm not saying any of that stuff is evil at all. I'm saying that we can get overloaded. And I've been guilty. There's times where I have to literally unplug, turn the phone off, turn the TV off, go for a walk, even if it's raining at 8 o'clock at night, just for some quiet time. A lot of why I run in those mountains is so I can just have quiet. So knowing when to kind of turn off the noise can be a big help. The third part here is more proactive. It's actually building in to your calendar, little breathers, little buffers, little things you can do that help you get centered. I have a client, I actually have a coaching call at 4 o'clock with a client that walks around his house twice a day at 11:45 in the morning. It's a new habit of his. And he says he comes back 10 minutes later and he just feels totally refreshed, re-energized, less irritable, more empathetic. You guys, maybe for you, it's not walking around your house. Maybe it's meditation. Maybe you pray for 5 minutes. Maybe you have Alexa play the comedy channel so you can laugh. I don't know, but it's proactively putting it into the calendar because it really gets you centered, gets you into that best self. I'll wind down. The reason why self-talk is so important, those affirmations, because they directly relate and define the things we believe about ourselves. If we got negative, if I had more time, I can do an all-day workshop with you guys where we get into toxic thoughts. The crap, if any of you guys have kids, my teenagers now, I can listen to my teenagers talk and it's like, it makes me want to cry sometimes because the things that they can say that just destroy their self-image. I suck at this, or oh, I'm not good at that, or how many of us recently have said, oh, I'm such a procrastinator. I'm so unorganized. I'm so forgetful. I'm not a morning person. There are tons of them, whether you're conscious of it or not. There are tons of them going through our head. And one of my favorite quotes, Zig Ziglar used to always say, a human cannot act in a manner that is inconsistent with their self-image. So we can fake it, we can be fake, but we cannot authentically act in a manner that is inconsistent with our self-image. Proper affirmations, proper self-talk builds strong self-image. It builds it in a better way. Then the actions and behaviors that come out of ourselves bring us better results. If you want to alter a result of any part of life, I don't care if it's fitness, relationships, income, your emotional relationship to money or food or whatever. If you want to alter any result, it is adjusting self-talk. Like we can put Band-Aids on crap. The world's full of Band-Aids. But if we want to get to the root of it, it is in the self-talk. If I ask every one of you guys on this call, if next week I called you and said, how are you? How you been? What's going on? How are things? You'd say, oh, I am. Be careful. Like watch out what you say next. Be hyper aware and conscious of the things we say about self. Those things often come to truth. Tanya, I have definitely a little time. I can share more if you'd like, but I want to make sure there's plenty of time at the end here. I want to unshare. That's what I had prepared.
Well, I wanted to kind of open it up to the floor and see if you guys wanted to share a big wow that you heard today on Ron's presentation. And so I'd love to hear about 5 things from the group on what you got out of it. I'll go ahead and start. What I heard you say was stop wearing yoga pants to work.
Woo, I like how you took my words and made it yourself, made it for you. That's perfect.
Yeah. So, getting dressed, even if you're working from home, and, getting that mindset going, that follow a plan and a schedule. Everything I'm getting from you, Ron, is that there's no better time for somebody that is successful, has been successful, maybe is struggling with working from home or reinventing how it is that they do business, to have a coach. Having somebody that can help you with that plan, help you reset your schedule, be accountable, even somebody that can help you remember what those positive affirmations are. Because if you're someone that's successful and you find yourself getting in your head and saying negative things, it may be that you just need to get back on track. So I got a lot from all of it that you said. Anybody else want to share? Don't be shy.
Hey, Ron, this is Jim DeMarco. Thank you so much for today. You did a presentation for my team a couple years back, and I left just so amazed by the words you shared and some of the advice you give. And one that always stuck out to me was we are our habits. And I always think about that daily as far as what habits do we want to build for ourselves in our business, our lives. And I think that you reinforced that again today with what you shared to those of us who have spent time out of our days to listen to you, because what you offer and the advice you give your clients and us, it's invaluable. And so thank you again for today and reminding us that we are our habits.
Yeah, no, Jim, thank you, man. I miss you. It'd be fun to get to see you again here. So thanks for saying that.
Great.
Heck yeah,
Anybody
we'll get you off to our January event. We'll make sure we get you the invitation off so you can come see us in person. We're super excited for that. So those of you on the call, please keep your calendars open for January 25th. It's going to be in Bellevue. Great location, great space. Tanya's done an amazing job helping to put it together. So very excited for us to get an in-person event. It's well overdue for our association. So we're looking forward to everybody there. And Ron, of course, having you in person would be awesome. You're a dynamic speaker in person and professional. So we're very, very fortunate to have you partner with us.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. No, it'd be a blast. That week I'm in Nashville. Our global summit for our company is at our headquarters. But any of the next ones, I already told Tanya, I'd love to be able to hang out with everybody in person.
So Ron, Steve Corey has shared that this is so great and timely. Set your goals, protect them, and get after them. Thank you. That's true. And Patrick Davidson, great reminder. Great reminder that we are in control of our own destiny. We need to put in the time and effort, though.
Yeah, dude, Patrick, well said. Like I said, I got to get out to Wenatchee too and see you guys, man. It'd be fun. Yeah, I did appreciate the date on this, because again, this is a topic I need constantly. I'm no different than any one of you guys. I'm trying to constantly be working on these things, but it is fun as we get towards year end. So,
Ron, before we wrap it up here, let's put a pin on it. Will you please share the name of your book and how people can get it? Yeah,
a little selfless plug. And thanks for asking. It's a lot of what we talked about today. It's the whole idea of redefining possible. That's the name of the book. And it really gets into the power of impact and how anything we do can be special, but if we bring others with us, it just makes things incredibly fulfilling. And so it takes a deep dive into the power of focus, how to have more ownership in our life and get clearer on our vision, and then really breaking belief barriers, like how to kind of create new normals and like Jim talked about, how our habits define us, and how when we are doing all those things, that helps us create our highest form of impact. So that's the book. Boom, I got one right here.
There it
Little
is.
self-plug.
Boom.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
And I-
That would make a great Christmas gift for family, friends, and colleagues.
Yeah, thanks for saying that, Tanya. I threw my cell in there too, guys. Feel free. Anything I can do. If this was okay, Zoom is awesome. I'm in San Diego last week. I did a couple of these. Like I love doing live workshops. So if it's talking about coaching for you or doing a workshop for your branch or your company or whatever, feel free. Shoot me a text, call, send me a message on LinkedIn, whatever.
Well, thank you. On behalf of the WMBA, I want to thank everyone for tuning in today and participating. We are certainly better together. Again, we're reminding you that invite will be coming across your email for January 25th. So please mark your calendar. And Ron, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for today and all of the time and effort that you put into being a part of our program. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Merry Christmas, you guys. Have a great Christmas and New Year's. And I hope I get to see you guys and talk to you soon ahead. Thanks for having me, Tanya.
Merry Christmas. Bye,
Thanks, everybody.
everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Ron.
Yeah, see you guys.